New motor, new battery, new range extender, new suspension, new display, and a new remote are completely new Levo. Legend riders, welcome back to Sam's Bikes, and today is the Levo Gen 4 review. I know you've been waiting for it, so here it is. And we've got a lot to talk about because absolutely everything is new on the Gen 4. And if you want to jump forward to how the motor is or how the new Genie is, there are timestamps in the timeline. And before we jump into the review, a massive shout out to the long-term sponsor, Schwalbe. I absolutely love their new radial tires. On the Gen 4, I've been rocking the Magic Mary on the front, obviously in the radial, and the Alba in the back. And it's an absolutely sensational combo. It could be my new favorite. And riders, if you haven't tried the new radials, I highly recommend them. I also want to thank Specialized for sending me the Gen 4 early so I could do this review on release date, so I could bring you legends all the news. So the brand new Levo 4 is rolling on mullet wheels. We've got 160 to travel up front and 150 in the rear with that plush Genie suspension. We've got two motor options. We've got the Specialized 3.1 motor with 101 newton-meters of torque and 666 watts of peak power. And then you got the S-Works motor, which I've been testing with a whopping 111 newton-meters of torque and 720 watts of peak power. All models will be coming with an 840 watt-hour battery, weight coming in from 23 kilos. The Gen 4 will be available in 5 sizes and prices starting from 7,999 euros, and the bikes will be available straight away. So I've been testing the S4, which is kind of a large, which has a reach of 480mm. We got the 3-way adjustable headset angle. So we got 63.5, 64.5, and 65.5. We have a 77-degree seat tube angle, a 350 BB height, and riders, get this, a 435 chainstay, which I absolutely love. It makes the bike so playful, but also you can extend it in the long chainstay setting and make it 444, which is more stable. Now, first up, let's talk about appearance and integration. And without a doubt, this paint job on this bike is absolutely out of control. It's so beautiful and also really difficult to film and photograph because the bike changes color on the angle of the sun. You also notice that the Gen 4 is now more symmetrical, similar to the Levo SL, and the motor area is cleaner because the motor, I believe, is about 20% smaller. And you also notice that now Specialized are mounting the battery on the side of the down tube. And when I first saw that, I wasn't a massive fan of it because obviously the down tube has got a bit fatter. But I think Specialized has possibly put the priority of ride quality and performance. And let me show you why. So let's open up the battery cover here, which is just one Allen key, super easy. So we're taking off the battery cover and check out the battery. So the battery sits quite low in the down tube. And what does that do? So basically it keeps the weight off the steering. So the steering's lighter, handles better, and the weight is more centered on the bike and keeps the bike more planted. And also there is more. So the battery comes out really easily like this. And there is a SWAT storage in here. So you have SWAT storage and a more planted bike. So I definitely agree with what they've done here. Also really like the low standover of this bike and the lines. And also it can take a 200mm dropper with the S4, which I really like because it just slam the seat, get it out of the way. Also, obviously, the Mastermind display, super beautiful. I'm gonna say it has to be the best looking display on the market. Overall, I think it's a very well integrated, beautiful e-bike. Now onto the most important part, how does it ride out in the trails? Well, as soon as I jumped on the Gen 4, I felt at home. You definitely feel like you're riding a Specialized. I set it up really quickly and was up to speed pretty much in like the first ride. And right from the get-go, you can tell the Levo Gen 4 is a special bike. It's plush, planted, and stable. But with those short chainstays and a well-placed battery, it's pretty agile for a full-powered e-bike. And the bike is so damn quiet on the downhills. No motor rattle, no cable rattle. It's just you and the trails. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been riding the Gen 4 at my local trail center, also some enduro trails in Madrid and at the local bike park La Pinilla. And riders, don't get confused about the 160, 150. This bike is an absolute bruiser and can handle pretty much anything you throw at it. So at the trail center, it rides lively, light, you know, the short chain stay. It's just a really fun bike to ride. You can also do a lot of tuning to make it ride even more lightly, but we'll get to that in the Genie. And then enduro riding and downhill riding, you know, like I thought it wouldn't be as capable as it is. You know, like the Gen 3 was a really capable bike. This just takes it to the next level. And also riders at the bike park, you can run up to a 180 fork. I might try to 170, 180 might be a bit too much. So once all the downhilling's finished and you're heading back up the hill, the Levo Gen 4 is a fantastic climber. We've got so much power here and so much controllable power. And the position of the bike puts you, it's in a good position, 77-degree sit-tube angle, so you're definitely pushed forward, and 160 at the front, so you're not too far off the mountain. The only thing I felt a little bit is when it was really steep, the front wheel was coming up a little bit because we have a shorter chainstay. But, you know, like I can change that to having the long setting in the 444, and that would, you know, fix that. But you got to pick your battles. Do you want your bike to climb better or descend better? So overall, the Gen 4 trail riding, enduro riding, and even downhill riding, it absolutely rips. I'm going to put a lot of that down to the completely new design suspension kinematics and the new Genie, which I've been testing on the Levo SL and now on the Levo. And definitely the Genie gives you core-like performance. So more plush, and you have more traction on the rear wheel. The rear wheel just tracks better, and it does feel like you have more travel or more usable travel. So let me quickly explain how this black magic works. But if you want to see my full review on the Genie, there's a link in the show notes. So basically the Genie has a massive air chamber. And when you get to 70% of the stroke, it cuts the chamber in two, and that second chamber ramps up. So you can control your bottom out and your mid stroke. And get this, riders, you can control that and tune that independently with tokens. So you can put, if you're a big jumper, you can put a big token here, and so you have bottom out control, but you still have the suppleness of the mid stroke. So definitely the Genie is a fantastic add to the new Levo. Okay, now onto the e-bike motor and system. And riders, we've got a lot to talk about because everything is new here. And make sure you subscribe to the channel because we're going to do a standalone video of just the e-bike motor and system in the next couple of weeks. So we have two brand new motors. We've got the Specialized 3.1 motor with 101 Newton meters of torque and 666 watts of peak power, and the S-Works motor with a whopping 111 Newton meters of torque and 720 watts of peak power. Now, obviously I've been testing the S-Works, so that's what we're going to be reviewing here. But riders, I've been told out on the trails, the real world test, there's not a huge amount of difference between the 3.1 motor and the S-Works. And I'm happy to see Specialized going away from the belt-driven motors to metal gears. And both motors have gone from 36 volts in the Gen 3 up to 50. All Gen 4s will be coming with the 840 watt-hour battery. You can also get the new 280 watt-hour range extender, and coming later in the year, a 600 watt-hour battery. You'll also see a beautiful new Mastermind display here, which is larger. I'm happy to see that. The old one was a little bit hard for me to read. And also the integration is beautiful, and there's no on button anymore. That's because we have a brand new remote as well, and the on button's here. Now, I would have loved to have seen the remote wireless, but that's okay. But you know, the thought and the design that's gone into this remote and the ergonomics out in the trail, it's a really good remote. So we still have Eco, Trail, and Turbo, and Micro Tune, but now we have an automatic mode that can be tuned in 3 settings, and we also have Dynamic Micro Tune, which I absolutely love. So it's just like Micro Tune, but it actually ramps up. So this is how I use it. You attach your heart rate monitor to the Mastermind here, and because I want to burn a bit of this fat, I want to be in at like 130, 140 beats per minute to burn that fat. Now I will use Dynamic Micro Tune to keep my heart rate there by regulating if I'm in 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%. And also it's really good when you're going out for that group ride to get a workout. You know, I know we go out on our Saturdays and we go for that ride, and a lot of us aren't thinking about being in that fat burning mode, but with Dynamic Micro Tune, it just makes it so easy. And Specialized has added the overrun feature, which can be tuned in 3 different settings. And also you can cancel the overrun by quite simply backpedaling. And also you can turn that feature on and off in the application. And speaking about the Specialized app, for me, it's market leading. And the reason it's market leading is because the detail and the tunability of this motor is next level. You can really tune it in to your style of riding, which I absolutely love. And also it's got better because now out in the trails, you don't need to bring your phone or open your phone to tune your system. You can do it all via the remote. And lastly, all Levo Gen 4s are going to be coming with a 5 amp charger, and the S-Works is going to be coming with a smart fast charger, which can charge your Levo from 0 to 80% charged in less than an hour, which is perfect for those long days when we're filming. And also, if you want to go for a ride in the morning and then maybe have lunch, charge your bike, and then go out again in the afternoon. And again, riders, that was so much information on the motor and system, but most importantly, how does it ride out in the trails? Well, the first thing I noticed when I hopped on the Gen 4 is how much power it has than the Gen 3. It feels like you have an extra assistant mode, which I absolutely love. And the pedal stroke, super natural, super predictable, and it's not cadence driven. And what do I mean by that? Well, some of the other e-bike motors on the market are more cadence driven, so you have to bring the RPM, the cadence up to about 80 to 100 RPM to get that power. But not with the new Specialized system. You can cruel up the nastiest of hill climbs at a really low cadence with great support and power. And then when you lift your cadences up, the motor ramps up really quickly and naturally with loads of power. It actually follows your pedal stroke, and you're almost getting full power at 60 RPM of cadence, which is really impressive. And what I really love about this system is when you are doing those nasty technical climbs, you can do them in low cadences. And I like that because you're not constantly changing gears. And also, it's easier to hold your balance when you're pedaling slower. It's like you have more control. So now we're at my local trails and we're going to do the sound test. So the noise cancellation on the microphone is turned off. The motor at the moment is off. Now let's go up into Eco. So we're in Eco now. Let's go into Auto. Let's go into Trail. And now Turbo. For me, you can hear the motor just. It's not silent, but it's close to it. And the noise of the motor, it's not annoying. It's like a mechanical noise. I mean, I don't think it's annoying. What do you guys think? Okay, now what about when you're riding above the 25k limiter in Europe, or when your motor's off or you're out of battery? So we're on a little bit of an incline here. Let's turn it off. Let's pedal, change down a gear, because you can feel the weight of the bike. I mean, you can feel the weight of the bike, but I don't think I feel any drag. Like, it feels pretty smooth. Obviously, when you're climbing up the mountains, what you're really gonna feel is the weight of the bike and the tires. But this feels fine. Now onto range. How much range should we be expecting out of the Levo Gen 4 with the 840 watt-hour battery? Well, we've got more power and a bigger battery than the Gen 3. So I think we're probably gonna get similar levels of vertical meters climbed. And I was getting in the Levo Gen 3 around 15 to 1600 meters of vert on a standard ride. Now riders, I'm not the fittest rider out there. I'd say I'm the average rider. So if you're super fit, probably think about 2000. And if you're not super fit, maybe like 13, 14. And remember, you can get that range extender. So making it like probably one of the biggest batteries on the market. Now let's talk weight, and it's going to be a new category of my e-bike reviews. So my S-Works is coming in at 23.8 kilos. Now I weighed that before I changed the tires, and the tires that came on it were the Specialized downhill ready tires, so proper tires. I'm going to say this bike out of the box or out of the shop is enduro bike park shredder ready. Like a lot of the other bikes, or some of the other bikes that are coming in lighter at 20, 21 kilos are really not up for the job. Like, they're trail bikes, and I'm saying the Levo Gen 4 is definitely a trail duro. This can handle pretty much anything you throw at it. And also Specialized built up like a Weight Watchers version of the Levo Gen 4 with a 600 watt-hour battery, and they actually brought it in sub 20 kilos, 19.6 kilos. So it is possible to build this bike really light, but Specialized, what they've done here is they build a bike that's actually gonna last out in the trails. So I'm sure you legend riders want to know how the new Gen 4 compares to the Gen 3. Well, the Gen 3, quite simply, was a masterpiece and still is. That bike still stands up, being 4 years old, to some of the best e-bikes on the market. But the Gen 4 is just better in every way. So we've got more power, bigger battery, more battery options. We've got a bigger display, better remote, amazing suspension kinematics, shorter chainstay. You can also make the chainstay longer. Overall, the Gen 4 is a masterpiece on top of an already masterpiece. So they've done a great job. And on to sizing, and I'm 183 centimeters on a good day. And on Specialized bikes, I always ride an S4, which is kind of like a large in traditional sizing. And I found the fit really good for me. Coming off the Gen 3, I would say it's a smidge bigger. I felt it a little bit bigger. I might put a 35mm stem on it, and I might go up to like a 30mm riser bar. But for me, I definitely wouldn't be sizing up or sizing down. And riders, if you do go on the Specialized website and you are right in between that size, for me, if you're a really experienced rider and you want a more playful bike, then size down. But if you're new to mountain biking and you want a more stable bike, then size up. The Levo Gen 4 is going to be available in a frame kit, €7,499. In the comp model, €7,999. The Expert, €9,999. The Pro, €11,999. And the S-Works, €14,999. And not all gravy, the things I haven't liked about the Gen 4 or would like to see improved. Well, first off, the S-Works comes with the fast charger, which is fantastic and I love it and I've used it a fair bit, but it is quite big. You know, at a top spec model bike, I'd love to see it come with 2 chargers, the standard 5V and the fast charger for that, you know, the weekend trip, you don't want to take that massive charger. I'd also love to see a 600 watt hour battery version of the Gen 4 available with a range extender, you know, because I think it's going to put the weight of the bike lower. It's also going to keep those Weight Watchers happy. The bike will come in around 21 kilos. And I just think it would be a nice option to add it to the lineup. Also, love to see a left-handed water bottle holder available for these bikes. I know you can get it aftermarket, but I'd love to see an option, you know, on their website to click left or right-handed water bottle holders because I'm a lefty. The Maven brakes, not a fan of Maven brakes. For me, they're very powerful. I don't think we're looking for more power. I think we're looking for more control and modulation. And the seat dropper. I know RockShox and Fox have gone for these new seat droppers. I personally think they're quite ugly, and this bike's very beautiful, and you know, this is not a great looking dropper in my opinion. So who's the new Levo for? Well, I think the new Levo is a very versatile bike and really good for a lot of you riders out there because we've got the 6-way geometry change. We also got lots of different battery options. You also got that new range extender so you can do massive days out in the saddle. And also it can take a 180mm fork. So you can take it to the bike park. You can also ride it without the battery at the bike park. And obviously you can take the battery out, store the bike in your garage and charge the battery in your house. So overall, it's a very versatile bike. Okay, legend riders, I hope you're still with me. Now, coming down to the conclusion, the final thoughts of the Levo Gen 4. Well, I think Specialized have absolutely knocked it out of the park again. This is a full Specialized e-bike. They've made the display, they've made the remote, they've done the Genie, they've got the new motor, they've done the 6-way geo changes. This is a whole Specialized e-bike, where the other brands are bolting on a Bosch or a Shimano. Specialized are standing apart and doing it on their own. I think it is a sensational bike. I think it's going to be really hard to beat in 25. Anyway, riders, they're my thoughts. Let me know what you think of the bike. Let me know if you have any questions, because you know I love to help. And riders, you know it. Stay safe out there. We're going to see you soon.